Hi, everybody. This is Tracy Malone from narcissistabusesupport.com. Today, I would like to talk about finding yourself after narcissistic abuse, finding who you are, because when you've been with a narcissist, you've probably given up your hobbies, you've probably given up your friends, your family. And at the end of a narcissistic relationship, people question, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know how to be me. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to find myself. Clients ask me this every day, and I'm going to share my journey of finding myself because I ended up writing a journal about it, and I forgot to bring that to pull it out to show you guys. But you know, if you look at who you are trying to figure out who you are, we have to look at who you were, right? Because probably were a bunch of different things in your life. If I look back at the little girl Tracy, and then I look at my 20s and how I was a wild one. I actually had a car, a Camaro Rally Sport that said wild one on the license plate. I was projecting that. Don't ask me why, but I was 18 or 19, and so it made sense at the time, right? Got me pulled over a lot, I have to say that. But then in my journey, I was also a mother. I was a wife several times. As a mother, I was a Boy Scout leader, and I was the popcorn colonel, and I was a business owner and a wife and a software engineer at Priceline. I had all of these different things in my life that I have done, but I don't think that defines us, right? It's what we want to be now. We get to choose. We could choose the best part of us and find the things that we've given up and surrendered and take them back, maybe one at a time and maybe slowly. It's not like boof and this magical change and transformation happens. Depending on how many years you've been abused, you may find it even harder. But when I look at who I want to be, I have to have a core. And to me, my core is how do I want to feel? Because I'm done with feeling crappy. I'm done with narcissists in my life. I want to feel safe. I want to feel fearless. I want to feel loved, happy, and still maintain my empathetic soul, right? So there's all of these things you really have to kind of think about this and start to figure out who you are, right? We all have stories we tell and things that are happening inside our head. These could be from the narcissist, or if you're unlucky like I was to have narc parents, the dialogue that was in our heads from our parents of you know, sort of, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You'll never be successful. You'll never be happy. Again, voices of the narcissist have to be eliminated. And so when we're hearing those sort of things and just sort of giving up hope on who we are and finding something that we want to land on, if those voices are in our head, they're always going to tell you you're not good enough. And so finding the antidote to the you're not good enough is to look at the things in your life and the people in your life that have always been there for you, or finding new people that will always be there for you, right? Um, those internal dialogues do not define us. So don't put too much weight on them because it will hurt you and you're not going to move forward, right? Um, when I give this talk about finding yourself again, I often go to a movie by Julia Roberts called Runaway Bride. And in this movie, she ran away from the altar from four different men, and Richard Gere zooms into the rescue to figure out and help her uh, figure out why she was running away at the altar. And each man that he interviewed, her ex-fiancés that she left at the altar, all started to say she likes, over easy eggs like me. She likes scrambled eggs like me. She likes this just like me. So each one of them was relating that one tiny factoid about eggs and what was her favorite. And it turned out that she would morph her favorite. She would not have her own defined, and she would take that and go, okay, you like that kind? I like that kind, right? I was like that too. I was malleable. I hate fish, always hated fish. But every single man I've ever been with has always said to me, try my fish. You'll like it. It's different. You've never had fish like my fish. And I would not want to eat it, but I would gag through it. And then I'd be made fun of, even though I told them I don't like fish. But then I was also judged for not liking fish. Well, what's wrong with you? You don't even like fish. You can't win. But the Tracy today is so much more confident because I know what I like and I know what I'm not going to tolerate. And I'm never going to eat fish again. Nobody is going to go, try my fish and you'll like it. And I had to evaluate, why did I eat the fish when I didn't want to? That's part of finding yourself, right? I was afraid that they wouldn't like me. I was afraid that if I didn't go along with it, that somehow I wasn't good enough and there was something wrong with me for not liking fish. So looking at these things and understanding the reasoning behind it was fear. Fear is a big part of my childhood, my life growing up. And so I have to understand how that has driven some of my choices, right? And um, when you're thinking about finding yourself again, there's some serious points that you need to kind of look at. I break it into sort of basics, then deeper stuff, and then feelings and how you want to feel. And people go, well, why do silly factoids matter? It's like, why does it matter where you want to sit on a plane? Because you know what? You're never going to let someone tell you, no, I want the window. If you like the window, you're going to stand up for what you want because you are confident in your decision, right? When I explored my travel, since we're talking about travel here, I like to get to the airport 2 hours early. Just do. Don't why I've missed a plane. I don't want that to happen again. So fear of missing a plane makes me get there. And that's what I have to be comfortable with. I have to know that it's okay to say, I'm going to be there 2 hours early. And here's another factoid for you. I will never, ever go on a trip that has a carry-on luggage. I like to overpack. That's me. Knowing that about you, and if someone's like, well, why can't we just bring a carry-on? I would say, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. The confidence in knowing these silly little factoids makes a difference. One of the other things, again, I'm giving you a little factoids. There's 1,000 things that I learned and 1,000 things that I did in this discovery to find myself, right? But I also looked at how many shoes I had. Tracy, what the heck does that have to do with finding yourself? Well, it was a aha moment for me because I went through my closet. I had over 50 pairs of shoes. And how many do I wear? About five. And that's including both seasons, right? And I was like, well, why am I keeping these? Guess what? The link to why I was keeping things that don't even fit me and I don't wear was fear. I don't know if I'll ever be able to afford that again. Well, so I better hold on to shoes that don't fit me. Sounds like a logical thing, right? But in understanding what you like and what you don't like, uh, makes you a stronger person, more confident about who you are. And you're not taking stuff. Nobody's going to tell you to eat fish again. No one's going to make you do something you don't want because you know yourself. You're so confident in that, right? As you go deeper, I want you to think about, what emotions are you holding on to? Like I just described my fear thing, right? Um, do I self-sabotage myself? How does fear play a role in my life? Am I holding on to guilt or shame? How can I love myself more? You go deeper into these things and you really explore it so that you become more confident in your spouse, right? Um, and then if you get into some root questions, where are these emotions coming from? How do I heal these wounds? Can I process and let go of these things that are blocking me from being me, right? Um, what do you need to feel safe? What makes you feel unsafe? Like if you know what you're not going to tolerate, what makes you unsafe, then feeling safe is the opposite. It's simple, right? Looking at your feelings and understanding who you are is a journey, and it's not a bad one. It's validating and it's powerful. So I have a journal. Where is it? Here it is. I think it's here. Who Am I journal. It's got all these prompts for you to get started and find out who you are. You can find it on Amazon, but do the work yourself to figure out who you are. Because after narcissistic abuse, you're like a little seed in the ground, and we can create whoever we want to be. This is Tracy Malone. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.